Scarlett versus IMO, and we're on time here. 7:30 right now. Set 1, Blight on Suffocation Pit 1. Set 2, Unknown on Ormond Lake Mine, and a tiebreaker of Mastermind on Cold Tower 1. And from what I've gathered, these teams in particular, Scarlett and IMO, have done really well throughout the beginning of the week. Sorry, the group stage, rather. I apologize. Week 3. Scarlett being one of those teams that has yet to find their first loss, I do believe, and IMO being a team that actually had a major upset in the beginning of the tournament on Takedo Kids, and then later on, just last week, they were just not too fortunate. But we'll see how this one pans out, I guess. Zinshao going to be taking chase here onto Daig, who is going to be using the Z-War to full effect. Unfortunately, losing the 50-50 mind game will result in a tag, and is forced to drop the pallet of 1 and zoned himself in the corner in the process. Now, here come in the rushes. Can we do something fancy? Maybe get a little bit flicky with it. Oh, Zinshao! No, going to be breaking the pallet, and that's going to sacrifice the distance, and Daig is just able to make the edge map once more, but not really much to go on after this Z-War here. After he vaults the window, he's just going to have to opt to die into corner 1, because if it goes into 3, it's a little too close to the generators that have just been started, and you want to take the killer as far away as possible. As we do get this hook here over towards 1, we see one generator at 25% and another one around the same ballpark. So probably the ones over at 7 and 5. Pretty good start to the start of our match for our killer here, Smog.
Yeah, not bad start at all for Zinshao. This is IMO's pick, but Scarlett are also not shy on the Blight. Lemon Blight is pretty damn locked in and pretty good. And looking at our generators here, we do have I think it's a 3-3 split in terms of our generators on the Cypher Pit here. But dead hard build on the hook there. No DS, unfortunately, for Dej. Rotating away, we're just going to be kicking our gens with Call of Brine, by the way. Call of Brine Eruption Pop. Don't see a lot of Call of Brine nowadays, but it does give you good info when they get back on the generators, but only using 1 token there, and we see the pull coming through onto Dej from likely THK. Heading back up map, ideally looking for our talent. I wouldn't be surprised from Zinshao, but it looks like we have instead found Kate here. Taking the tag, we'll be rotating back over to main building, so this won't be a tunnel lab, but I think Zinshao is still looking around, trying to find our tunnel lab potentially, if we can spot Dej rotating anywhere away, but we do hear in the background there some skill checks from Call of Brine. That's going to get really annoying, but just going to be pre-throwing the main building pallet there, just playing super safe, which you kind of got to do on Blight, but trying to go for a cheeky bit of a double back there. We did see, we called in for the eruption down on the side of THK as everyone got off their gens, and then the eruption came through. Never mind, I'm lying, I can see an aura right there, my apologies, I tell fibs, but going up back on like this midish hook, and Dej is able to escape with his life, but Lemon does pop a gen. It looked like it was being doubled with Dej, because we see now on the HUD that he's healing. So I dare say Zinshao heading on over to interrupt this high prog gen, which was LV Duck's generator. So ideally he has stealth elsewhere. He's all the way over by the Z wall, chilling out with the comp jank fit. Pop eruption being applied to that generator there, and then Zinshao on the hunt for someone crossing up from bottom side of the map. Then it looks like Dej is intentionally playing very aggressively open there to try and bait Zinshao onto him there and allow trespass for Lemon to go up to the top of the map there and go for a potential unhook, and will get on a generator, duck him into his generator over by the bottom there. But I'm also Zinshao is going to be playing a bit more defensively around the hook here, as the rest of Scarlett are kind of stuck on the other side of the map there. But Lemon and Dej will need to try and work their way back up the map there. Zinshao, although, is very content in holding this choke down. A bit hard to stealth if your name's Lemon when you got the Temu Legacy fit on with the beanie, but we should be pre-throwing that 4-lane power there, taking that break, and then just committing to just camping at THK to the second hook here, Hunter.
Yeah, all nice and sound. It's kind of the downfall of going down towards mid, I guess. I mean, we were down top, but this hook in mid is just doing us wonders. Hang on a second, it's Deliverance, and it went past the smoke. We completely forgot about it. That's the tag, and straight down to the bottom side here on the side of THK. Now, does Zinshao follow up this chase? He kind of has to, as we pre-drop the pallet here over at the Ormond filler. Rush 1 comes in. I dare say Rush 2 is going to be just as good. Oh, we've greeted it entirely, and we're able to make the window or even further down bottom after 2 rushes are gone. We got the body that we need coming in from Daig if we do need it. He is going to be getting hit, and he's just as good of a tunnel out as THK is at this point in time. We are going to be taking 2 bumps here, trying to get the 3rd one. No, doesn't quite connect. 4th one, playing it extra safe, and we've just gotten a little bit too lost in the source. All 5 rushes have been gone, and that's going to allow Daig to make down to the bottom half of the map there, where there's that really long and nice filler. So Zinshao, knowing he doesn't want any of that, shakes his camera in frustration, straight back to the top side. and that just allows the survivors at bottom to reset, being THK and Dake. We need to find Lemon, or we need to find Duck right now. We are trying to hold on to these generators over at top, and we didn't want to risk everything spiraling out of control over at bottom, because that means that we would have lost, yeah, all these generators from 11 to main to even potentially 1. So going to be taking the Eruption proc onto all of this around the joint now. It's important to note that we brought in Call of Brine, which I've been seeing making a return recently, as to oppose of something like, I guess, Turning Back the Clock, which tends to be pretty popular. But yeah, just Pop and Eruption doing the job as well. Like, it's pretty well rounded, those two perks, and just accommodation from Call of Brine is going to allow just that little bit of extra aggression after being having a gen kicked or having it being popped by Eruption. But Zinxiao finding his next chase here onto LV Duck, who was just stealthing around the top of the map there. The blind coming in, we've blinded Zinxiao. We're not going to know where LV Duck has gone, and that's going to be the champion of light value to the hindered status effect, but a very nice tag. We had a fair bit of reaction time as we were slowed there, so I think that aided us, because I think that swing was a little bit too preemptive as we did lunge for it, but that's going to be the drop of the filler pallet here, the pallet gym rather, and then forced back into 8 is LV Duck, and he's having a fairly good chase, but he does have some RNG to aid him. I cannot lie, this is looking pretty stacked here for LV Duck rather, and he is just running around this tile, and it's the 4.4 really showing we need to get into a favorable position to use those bumps and get the down after, well, 2 quickly successful ones rather. We're going to be hooking here over towards 8 now. Zinxiao straight back on the case over towards top. He knows he's spent some time here chasing LV Duck. It's not too much time, but it's enough time to be a problem if you're not careful. And after a couple rushes here, straight back down to the backside of 12, where you could potentially catch somebody out, hiding out. And that's just going to be our Ace and Shades Daig taking the chase again once more. We've reset the tunnel out 3 different times in this match, and you hate to see it. It really hurts the killer. But if we can kind of back ourselves up later on in the game, maybe we can just take control of it again as we do get the tag onto Daig. He is running towards the middle of the map again once more. Here comes 2 rushes, 3 rushes. Can we get the down onto Daig? He's been caught with his pants down. That's going to be him straight back on the hook in the middle of all of the action as well, might I add. It's going to be a very deep hook into 1. No, we've opted to go for the shallow one over at mid, so top mid rather, sorry. As soon as Daig is unhooked, that's going to be really accessible for him to just haul us down to the bottom of the map again. So I would have hooked him a little bit deeper, would have took that risk to hook him over at 1, but I guess Zinxiao trying to play a little bit more aggressive for these generators here. Knows he cannot spend too much time in just hooking survivors and playing just stupidly, I guess, but are going to be taking the break onto that pallet rather, sorry, over at 10. All in the meantime, getting our kicks on to that 11 corner generator. And hang on a second, LV Duck has disconnected. And as we are too far into the match, this will mean that all remaining stages from LV Duck will go to our killer. Oh, it's the turning tides here, Smonk. They definitely had a chance to pull it back if he was still in the match, but oh, it's heartbreaking, isn't it?
It wasn't even like they needed to pull it back. They were actually unlocked to potentially just popping all the gens and getting a couple outs. But with Duck dead and everyone injured and all these generators and dying in the generators, it's all a bit chalked. And if I know anything about Scarlett, I know they won't be happy about that. But we did see the Eruption go through another gen popping there in the background. So we're down to 2 gens now. We do have some highly progress gens on the side of the 12, but now we've got Lemon hooked in the middle of our 4 gen here over by main. And it's kind of curtains here. LV Duck tunneling himself out there, or rather his internet tunneling himself out. That's just not what you want to see if you're on Team Scarlett, unfortunately. And what could have been such a really clutch Blight set, setting up a really solid win condition there for Lemon when he does have to play Blight would have been great, but we have locked in on THK down by the min-map, and we can kind of just afford to commit to him because this forces our last Deathhook survivor, Daig, to come in for the unhook there onto Lemon. But THK has done a really good job so far in their chases, and we're playing a little bit of cheeky little mind games over here by the bottom, but we've gone wide into the corner here. This is very strange pathing, and it's tripped me up a little bit. We see THK plot twisting in the corner there, which does mean it forces him to go for the pickup there, as we don't want him to just get up and be healthy there. So we do have to pick up THK, but That's the strength of the perk there of the old plot twist, but regardless, we're still able to drag him up towards our generators here. We know that Lemon is injured somewhere amongst it by the main building, but I am curious to see if maybe we're just card committing to this Lemon generator, as we did know was super high progress. It is, once again, even more high progress, but I think Pop Goes the Weasel has something to say about that. That would have been like 98% or something stupid. We see the unhook from THK from Lemon and Deja here using his balance landing instead of Dead Hard to fire a good bit of distance down the map there, but he doesn't have any resources. We've been very liberal with our power usage of this map, this match. As we do get a M1 tagged onto Dage, as we get all of our tokens back. This could be curtains for him, as we don't have Dead Hard in our back pocket there, but we have a bunch of rocks and trees and crap to work with. Goes for a cheeky wide flare there, but it doesn't occur into much more than a vain attempt there, as Dage will be exiting the trial with the death hook there. I don't know if THK and Lemon will be resetting. Ideally, I think they're probably doubling a generator and trying to get us down to a 4K1. We see Caller Brian giving us a clue in on a bit of info at the 11 generator being progressed quite heavily, and with our last rush token there, we buy a good bit of distance and whoever was working that generator, but we got to reapply our Pop Goes the Weasel and Eruption. This will also reset the time on Caller Brian, because it doesn't linger for 60 seconds. We know that someone else might be tackling another generator if we're doing a 1-1 split. We did hear, I think, some grunts of pain from Lemon over by the mid-map there, and I think Zinshower did clock into it too as he's heading back down that way, but no, I think now with the state of the game, Lemon and THK here, they just do kind of have to reset and just slow it down a bit and try and play to that 4K1 result, as it's a lot more manageable, I think, for the killer player on the side of Scarlet Hunter.
Oh, it's just talked now, unfortunately, as we do have Lemon just taking the final chase of this match. Zinshao going to be using those bumps there in towards mid. Really trying to catch out Lemon, but THK is up with Plot Twist, so nice and healthy at the moment, and maybe they can just fight for the last remaining generator, as Dake does exit the trial a little bit earlier on. Zinshao still trying to follow up here over at 4. Pre-drop of the pallet over at 4. Very nice vault coming in from Lemon, and can potentially win the 50 here and get jiggy with it, and does so very nicely. That's $100 if you were counting appropriately. Here's Bloodlust 1. We're trying to play around the pallet with the slow as fuck Blight and just yoiking him off it in the process. So no $150. It's only going to be 100 to our name. That generator's nowhere near being done. So Zinshao going to just be rushing all the way back down to top, and he already knows that the furthest progressed generator is obviously going to be one furthest from him, and that is being 11. We do not see THK or where they have gone. They have rotated entirely around the main building and are already at the unhooks rather, sorry. And that's going to extend the game just a little bit longer. It's kind of looking like a rinse-repeat scenario, but they do have to fight for the last remaining minutes and really want that extra point, because it's going to aid them if you can pull it back to a 4K1 miraculously. Not impossible, but damn near impossible, because it's about a 9 out of 10 chance that, yeah, this is just going to be chalked up to the 4K2. However, Zinshao, after getting that tag onto our friend Lemon here, is going to follow up with some nice consecutive rushes, and that's a nice corner tech from the locker. That's a nice locker juke if we were to swing through that, but unfortunately, Zinshao, a little too patient, a little too smart, does get the down onto Lemon, and now rotating back to 11 to catch up THK. Now, where did THK go this time? Has to preemptively stealth for this pickup, and that's going to slow the game down even more, as we are just hiding out here. Over at bottom, rather. We didn't even go for the pressure over at top. So, caught at a loss, and we're going to take control of the midpoint, probably. Zinshao goes back to the slug, sees if anybody is picking up. Sorry, anybody picking up. It's going to be seeing if THK is picking up Lemon, but nothing of the sort. We know THK is all the way over at 4. Just kind of crouching by, and Zinshao happy to kind of just sit here, park the bus, wait for the remaining seconds to pass by in this game, as collectively is he like changed his DPI or something? He's going for like a nasty flick at the end game, maybe, I don't know, but we're going to pick up here onto Lemon. He's going to be probably hooking more towards the central part of the map, where it will allow for easy access to the hatch. And Zinshao, after getting that hook, after killing Lemon, has spent a little too much time dilly-dallying with his bumps. Now, fortunately for us, it's panned out in our favor. This will be the hatch opened, not winning it by our survivor. We've placed ourselves perfectly, planted our butts perfectly on top of that. And now, after a tag onto THK, that is a nice flick there. And I wonder if he actually did change his DPI or something, did something to make himself get flicky a little bit. But yeah, that will be THK out of the game, and that will be the 4K2 solidified. It could have been a different game with second half of the Blight set, we just saw a 4K2 due to unfortunate events, meaning that Scarlett has to 4K3 now. The man they choose for the job is Lemon, and we know what his Blight is capable of. Can he do it? And unfortunately, was the fault of of a survivor just disconnecting. Unfortunately, and I say fault very very loosely because it was just a survivor disconnection. Everybody else was fine in the game. It's just it was I couldn't honestly tell anybody in the audience what really happens there, but as per rule set, we do move on. It sucks, but it's the way we do it, unfortunately, for time efficiency and for the fact that we don't really know what happened behind the scenes. Regardless, this is going to follow up here onto Axe Kitty, Lemon that is, choosing not to take the first chase there over at corner 5. Oh my god, it's Phyllis Central here. Oh my god, it's stacked. Usually, actually, it's pretty stock standard for Suffocation Pit 1 these days. Slow vaulting the window, preserving the life. W-Mans, huge stuff from S there, and he's able to just run away there after doing so. Lemon going to be taking these safety bumps, trying to get a nice tag fairly early, and he's going to fail the flick there, unfortunately. Not quite hitting his M1 button just in time before losing collision with the rock, so it's going to be Zinshao buying himself all kinds of distance over towards the jungle gym there. After we do drop it, we do have the R and L to be working at our disposal, so mid kind of stacked as well, not going to lie. So Lemon does safety bump here, and he's already in the tile, so it's going to be extra hard for him to work with. Oh my god, the crouch and the precedence of the pallet, and I'm crying. So is somebody cutting onions? I don't know, but as a Blight main myself, I know how painful that can be, and you don't really anticipate it. You think the guy's just going to slow vault or fast vault over the pallet, and you just try and get flicky with it because you know that's what you have to do. So Lemon, not your fault, and not your fault at all, mate. So he comes in another ambitious flick, and I think we're really trying to compensate what happened last game with an early aggressive play style here, as we do see Mars just fake that window, but probably should have taken it. We got our Jake with the firecracker in hand as well, ready for a save if we do need it. So he's just going to be tailing and playing altruistic. Lemon does have to be careful of that. Does get a nice down over the window there, and does manage to get the pickup as well. So nowhere near a good spot for a cracker save there. So Lemon knows it's pretty safe to take this hook, and we are going to get 12 done in the background, but this is going to be the first stage of the trial. Probably needed to come in a little bit earlier for the win condition, but I think we can still pull a good game here, Smonk, as we do take the kick onto 10.
Yeah, that was a double gen at the start to Zinshao and us now doubling a different generator, so there's only really this gen that's Mars is hooked in front of that has actual progress outside of the one obviously Zinshao and us are doing. So we're pretty comfortable just to hang out around this area. We do have a very, very loose 3-gen top if we wanted to try and hold that. Of course, I think the win con's like 4K3 though, so it's a bit rough on that end. But Sprint Burst on Zinshao, he'll be able to rotate away there, but unfortunately we have already used the resources here. But able to get that fast vault on the window there, and we see the unhook coming through onto Mars very early. If ideally we do get that tag there, apply the deep wound just in case we have like a cheeky little dead heart or something like that in the background. Not really going over to break that generator is not really a point. We are going down mid-map. Applying turn back the clock there to the active generator in the choke. But with our rushes back online, we are able to cut off Mars from getting to the shack. I think shack card's already been used, if my memory serves me correctly. But unfortunately there, Lemon not quite able to hit the flick, and instead sliding into the rock there will give Mars access to the shack. Looking at the HUD as well, looks like we do have a double ender solo gen being worked, and we're starting a 1v1 at the shack apparently, as the pre-throw comes through from Mars, bringing the power, will result in 2 tokens being lost on the side of Lemon. So he'll wait a little bit to get his power back, but Mars, I think, has achieved their goal of just getting to the corner of the map. But there's another pallet here. Welcome to Suffocation Pit, ladies and gentlemen, as we continue to rotate around this pretty crap pallet there, but a bit of patience from Mars will result in that vault coming through nice and early. But with Blight now being 110, of course, this is a little bit harder to do, but we do eventually get the M1 down there. Eruption being applied on the generator in the background too, but it looks like Lemon, I was going to say he's going to go interrupt the generator, but no, he's just going to be using his power to break the power up there. But just taking the hook immediately, another gen popping in the background. Now we are at the tire condition, and IMO here, they're just on the generators, they're cranking away. It took Lemon a little bit too long to get these downs, unfortunately, and we've gotten really good pulls, and another gen being done by Axe Kitty in the background there. They're just on top of everything at the moment, and with that, those gens being done, the 4 gens being done, that is the win towards IMO, so they'll be taking their first set here, but Lemon still has to play for the best result possible that he can afford, and with the unhook coming through onto Mars, I think that was FTP as well, so now they're nice and healthy. We're instead going to be rotating to our chase potentially onto Xin Xiao, no, actually going to be rotating away, letting him do that generator there, applying. Turn back the clock to the 1% done gen, that's Aura. And we're just going to be taking the down onto S as well. I am curious to see if we just commit to our tunnel out here, or if we go for the hook. Go for the hook onto S. I wouldn't be surprised if this is our Delhi player as well. And that gives Mars access to top main, so that I don't think we'll ever see them over by the bottom side of the map ever again. And she will just likely just chill out on the other side of main building while everyone else just kind of works these generators down here. But I thought there was a generator up there, there's not. But taking the tag onto Xin Xiao here, he does go deeper into the 3-gen here, and we also have a hook in our 3-gen. I've just noticed. I'm all over the place tonight. My apologies, but this is actually really good for Lemon. If you can keep the pressure up here, it might actually result in a potential 4K if all the cards fall into the right place, because we've got an injury from Xin Xiao, so he has to rotate towards top map and get reset by Mars. We pushed Axe Kitty off his jam, but he's gone right back on it immediately. And we see some lingering scratches here, which I think might actually be Mars. So if we're able to get a quick 2-tap onto Mars, that'd be great, but not quite, as the rush just barely misses, giving them access to main. But once again, a pull coming through onto S. I believe that was Axe Kitty securing that, and there's a lot happening at once here, Hunter. So it's a bit much. Everyone is everywhere.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening, man. We got the hit onto S, but he still has the endurance status effect, so he's up, and away, but he cannot make anything. Wait, what's happening? Is this a spectator bug? I don't know if the blight bug is a spectator's a server. I don't even know these days, but I mean, we're creeping over towards 8 now after getting that down onto S. Another bump coming in. Getting that hit over the window onto Axe Kitty. It's going to spell his tag, and he's just forced into the bottom half of the map. Now we have 3-gendered. This is well and truly good for Lemon, I guess. Capable of actually taking advantage of it. Down goes S once more. Mars caught in a bad spot here. Is the tunnel out? Now, do we leave S on the floor and go for the gen pressure in the background and hope that Mars can just last around main? We get a tag onto Mars, but you know what? We haven't even committed to him, so we know we can go back towards those generators. With everybody injured, it is just safe to play the reset. Actually, they did exactly what I thought they were going to do and press the damn generator over at 5. This is going to be out here. No, Jake, you gotta look behind you, buddy. Oh, he's down. And he's just gonna be hooked here towards corner 5. This is going to dispel 4 stages as it currently stands. 3 fresh. Straight in front of an exit gate too. I don't think he's getting out, but we are just traversing back over towards 3 to cut out any rotation there. Everybody's still injured, but it's in their best interest to be able to reset right now. Still haven't got the slug off the floor. They are over at main though, and they are getting there nice and healthy. Wait, no, they did get the slug off the floor. Oh, wait, it's plot twist. Never mind. Okay, thank you, Mr. Spectator. I would have went mad thinking what the hell happened there, but I would have probably later on anticipated there would have been a plot twist. That's a nice looking stun from S, and after that, Lemon doesn't want any of it. He's going straight back down to the gate over at 3. Can he spot anybody out? No, they're playing extra patient for it now. They do manage to get the pull in the background there onto Xin Xiao. Now, what can Xin Xiao do from here? Can he get out? This is protect the president, save the man's Mr. Sir. Does have sprint burst in his back pocket, and I think that's what he was trying to do over at 5 before he got smited back on the floor. Does have the pallet here to his disposal. Down goes the pallet, 50 bucks in hand, didn't even vault it, and faked it that time around. Makes around again once more. Lemon going for a wacky minor game. 4.4 is a mean old bitch, but it doesn't matter anyway because we lost the 50. Breaking the pallet there, sacrificing all our charges, forcing the locker break there. Oh, slow vault. Anybody here with a beaver, please? Make a clip of the Twitter. He was so close. Wait, no. Oh my God. Oh, I think I'm having heart failures, and you can't do this to a 28-year-old man. I'll park it on the spot, I swear. We're good at getting that hook, and I think this is pretty much him just done and dusted his smoke. I'd be very surprised if he got out at this point.
I think we will have to accept the fact that Xin Xiao is lost to the basement here, unfortunately. Yeah, looks like they're just taking outs and decided, actually, let's move on to the next set. Very well played from IMO, the exceptional play on both the Blight and the Survivor. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to OSL Saturday night. Now, this is the final series of this evening. It is Scarlett vs. IMO, and in case you missed it, we did see the Blight set take place where IMO took away the win there on their own pick of the Blight. So now it is 1-0 in favor of IMO, but now it's time for Scarlett's pick of the unknown on Ormond Lake Mine. Mr. LV Duck back at it again. We've seen this man on the unknown plenty of times in a couple of different maps in the past, and historically, he has done exceptional work on the unknown. So I'm keen to see how he plays out here. And looking at his build, Eruption, turn back the clock, Pain Res, Corrupt. So a pretty classic build, all things considered. And looking at the add-ons there, we have the game cartridge and the footprint car. So when we teleport, we're going to have a bit of inbuilt brutal strength and vault speed there. And of course, every time we infect someone with our UVX, we're going to get our teleport, our hallucination cooldown reduced by 15 seconds instead of 10. So an extra 5 seconds there. We get a bonus on our next hallucination spawn. So two very reliable add-ons there, and an excellent UVX infection there through the wall onto Axe Kitty there as well. As we take the initial chase here, this should be an injury potentially, but no, Axe Kitty does go wide there, doesn't try and double back at all. Ambitious swing from LV Duck will result in the tag, because I believe this team, these gamers are playing on ping, so unfortunately they will be subjected to hits like that quite frequently. But LV Duck is off to a raring start here, going for the vault. This might be wide, not quite, as we do get the down into Axe Kitty, and that's a very very quick down to start the game off, and that's what you need if you want to take your Unknown set, because Unknown, he can be a bit of a hit or miss killer. He's very volatile in terms of how well he can do, and very inconsistent. Sometimes you can pop up with him, hit every power, and other times you feel like a useless fat chud, and you can't get anything done, and it sucks. But I don't know, maybe that's just me being bald and ugly. But we try and take a little cheeky infection there onto Mars, but we do avoid it, thankfully. We don't actually use any of our slowdowns on the generators near our hook, but a very quick unhook onto Axe Kitty. We're just ripping it and flipping it today, and with the 15 seconds of BT, we don't really need to injure them, but we can get a quick UVX infection there. Buck not opting to use his turn back the clock or eruption or anything on these generators that are active, and I think we're just going around the outside of the main building here, pulling our power. We do get that down through the wall, and that's an expeditious death hook here onto Axe Kitty. IMO kind of fumbling a little bit here, Hunter.
I think they were thinking about, Axe Kitty being able to last over at main. Just take chase main. It's a good, obviously the strongest part, or one of the strongest parts of this map now. Unfortunately, not being so favorable to them, we did just get hit with the UVX, which we were able to break so much line of sight and able to get that second down. It didn't matter that 15 seconds was not enough time. So LV Duck going to be following up the chase here towards 1. This is going to be Mars in chase again, and that's just going to spell a very early tag. Unfortunately, we will be just forced over towards the backside of main. No! Oh, the snipe onto Mars. And all of a sudden, Scarlett on the front foot here. Axe Kitty off the hook again. Another early pull, but this is one that needed to happen. They really needed to play patient on that second pull. I'm in full agreement with you there, Smunk. Trying to get that UVX tag in, and does so very nicely. LV Duck being very accurate with these powers. He knows the projectile and how it works. He understands everything. Oh, an FTP in front of his face though, and they've even evaded the UVX down. That's going to be Zinshao on the floor though, and it's going to sacrifice the progression over at 7 just momentarily. We're not able to work it in any regard. But Axe Kitty able to get rid of the UVX infection rate entirely, and does actually dodge the second time around, going for a nasty looking swing through the pallet. LV Duck, and really trying to take advantage of that ping. Not going to quite work out for him this time around, as we did greet it, but I mean, Axe Kitty drops that one again, the pallet inside in the middle that is, and does eat the tag straight back down to 11. Trying to cut him off with the teleport here now. Does still have UVX acquired on top of him, as that was a tag and we had not gotten rid of it in time. This will be a tunnel out of 4 generators remaining. This is not what you want for IMO. Scarlett looking strong, I cannot lie. LV Duck putting them in a good spot. And now, straight back over towards 7, where we're going to be intercepting that generator, or at least trying to. It's going to pop in front of our face. And we are going to lose another one inside the middle of the map there, but, that one was always going to kind of go, given how far progressed that it was. But it was also doubled. So, who do we chase from here on out? Somebody going up the top side of main. It is our Robin, Mars. And just trying to use the front of main. LV Duck trying to cut them off again. He's done really good with these cutoffs. Look, it's caught Axe Kitty off guard. It caught Mars off guard. It's just the game sense and just, the trajectory of his pathing. Absolutely immaculate. That's going to be Mars on the hook here towards corner 11. No pain resonance though, but we do have turn back the clock. It does not really matter because we've opted to go for the position. As we know, around the map, there's not that much progression, only about probably 20%, if that. Now, LV Duck does manage to spot out a stealthing rotating survivor for that pull. Our Jake Park, Zinshao. Now, doing a little bit of circle jiggy to try and evade the UVX, but oh my god, the predictions are on point with LV Duck, and that's going to spell the UVX tag on to Zinshao. Now, really trying to jiggy it out, a bit bob and weave, but it's not quite working out for him, faking the window even, and we've gone for it. What? That swing was way too early. I'm surprised we hit that with our tail end, even on ping, but LV Duck straight back towards 11, where he's going to be trying to catch out S going for the rotation. Now, the question is, did S always stealth around for the pickup onto Zinshao? Or is he actually close to 11? I'm not too sure, as we do take the turn back the clock value onto 1. There he is, just making his way, getting 11 as soon as quickly as possible. The unhook, that is. There goes the UVX, not quite connecting. Mars back at it again, off the hook. Now has the last here and has to turn the tides of the game. Does have 15 seconds free, but no longer. That will be the injure. Oh, well, the endurance status effect taking precedence, rather. Vaulting back into the killer, and we've done really well to evade for a 1-time. The 3-time, no, not quite. And we vaulted over the pallet, and we've hit him over it too. So rinse repeat scenario here, ladies and gents. We do manage to get Xinshao up in the background though. So the question is, do we let Mars die? And I don't think playing for the last generator, we definitely cannot do that. We have to get reset, and we have to disperse and manage to get that pull and hope for a better chase hit from here on out.
Yeah, it's gone to hell in a handbasket for IMO, and the survivor end here. Duck is locked in on the unknown. We still got 3 pain res tokens on the board, by the way, so when we do start getting these downs, even if they get the gen pressure, we've got those pain res tokens safe for our late game. We banked them away, and looks like we're just very contented to go for a tail out potentially onto Mars. We have S hovering around us, going for a body block there, and I think with UVX tag, that's just going to be kind of impossible. You can make it a bit inconvenient for Duck to get the down here, but provided he's on point with his UVX injury, he just kind of does die. Unless we get a back... like a back stun on behind him as he walks through the power, but it didn't quite occur as we do just go for the throw immediately. No beamer in Ace's hand there, and the power's a little bit too far away. Unless you throw it at him like he did earlier at the shack onto Xinshao. But Painter is finally being used there. We did hear Xinshao yell in despair in the background there as S desperately tries to bait chase, while Xinshao works a gen in the background there that is highly progressed. I would hope so anyway, but Painter's might have something to say about that, and I think it is indeed the 1 generator, as based off of what LVDoc was just looking around, and it is indeed the 1 gen. It's decently progressed, it's not super high, but it's certainly something. About turn back the clock, we'll be putting an end to that, and trying to play around this tile to the best visibility. That will be an infection onto Xinshao there, and with all of these line of sight blockers there, I don't think he's going to be able to get rid of it in time, and this should be a down for LVDoc there. Excellent placement of the UVX. We know S is on the other side of the map there, but he is healthy, working a generator, granted. I do believe it was this one right by the hill, and he's just kind of ran into LVDoc's loving embrace, so that will be an infection onto him, and this is a very comfortable 4k2 for the Duck, and it's going to be really tough for IMO to come back from this and achieve that 4k3 on unknown. It's a bit of an unprecedented result there, so I wouldn't be surprised if we do end up seeing that mastermind tiebreaker, but a decent stun there from S, although it might be a little bit in vain as we have a teleport on the other side of the water tower there. If we do bugger up this UVX somehow, maybe we can trip him up by going for a teleport onto our clone, but he's just chickied away. He's fucked off. He said, I'm not playing your mind games, mate. I'm going over here. Goodbye. LB going for the Hail Mary, a little bit off mark there, but he will indeed be able to cut off S very comfortably. I don't think he's going to be making the pick up onto Xinshao. He's going to be doubling back into Duck there and throwing his knife. Oh, that was like a fairly normal hit actually, but you know what I mean. But very good 4k2 there from Duck, showing off his proficiency at the unknown there. There was some egregious hits there, but that's, you know, ping moment, I guess. But even then, like, that one at the shack was so egregious that it was like, damn, that that would have even looked bullshit even on 160 ping.
To be expected when you have sets like this, obviously being from OCE to NEA is going to be 140, 160 ping involved, so you're going to see some wacky events, but still struggling to find that last slug around the map here. Mr. Spectator, can we pan over and see where we've crawled to? We're just chilling in the middle of the map. Please hook me, get the game on the way, or maybe we're calling the 7. He's fresh. No, I stand corrected. He is fresh. If he bleeds out, that's going to be obviously a fresh bleed out penalty towards LVDoc, meaning if I kill a next match 4k2s, then that will be the set going to IMO. Now, that can be detrimental. He will eventually want to find this because our old mate streamer Gohard knows what it's like to lose on a fresh hook. Unfortunately, lost a 4k3 to it on the raid set, but he's not very happy with me at the moment bringing that up, but regardless, maybe Duck getting so close he might be able to find it just in time. He's over at 7. We crawled to 7, checking the basement even. Actually, very smart play because, you know, sometimes it definitely would be the case. You wouldn't think to check there, given the fact that it's right on top of the hook, but we'll just suffice with corner 7, just behind the big old snow piles where we're going to build ourselves a snowman. How about that? But LV Duck, I think he's running out of time here. We'll eventually just eat up the fresh bleed out penalty now. Definitely doable for the survivors to work with this on the side of Scarlett, as you know, you only anticipate mid to high tier stages with this killer, if that. So definitely something they can take home and work with to go to the Mastermind set, which you said you weren't surprised if they would go to it. I wouldn't be either. They have some good experience. They have the likes of Kaz, the likes of Duck, and obviously Lemon. And I'm not. Wait, who was the last survivor that we actually said that was in this stage? Sorry, I
Stage, yeah.
thought that's one that we probably should not forget, considering that he is a match official. But I mean, loading in here, Axe Kitty over towards bottom 7, quite similar to how Duck had spawned last time around, with a quite an okay split for Corrupt. It does have some middle generators that the survivors will want to be hopping on eventually and getting those out of the way, like we saw last match. But Axe Kitty is going to be checking over to 2, seeing if he can find his first chase of the match. Does spot out Kaz, who is just hiding around the rock there. Spots somebody else out too over at corner 1. After we take that tag following up here into the main building, we are going to be seeing the Scratch Mask lead upstairs this time around and using the more weaker filler over in main as well. Going to get hit with that UVX tag, and she is going to just haul us back down to the stairs. That's a nice looking head-on coming in hot from Lemon. Take it away, Smok. Maybe we have an incredible chase. Actually, as I say that, Caster's Curse, are we going to be going down just before the UVX to swing through the pallet? She wins the stun. She's on fire today. Drop of the other pallet as well. Why not? Does she make the vault in time? Going for a little bit of a wacky mind games, and now Lemon knows he has to play with Kaz to try and just let her last, because, you know, you don't want her going down at a point in time like this. Ruin out of the trial, because we brought in Ruin, which is quite different to what we had seen last match, sorry. But we are now only at 2 perk Andy. We have Eruption and Pain Resonance, so it could be worse. You know, we could have brought double Ruin and had that broken very early on. But, you know, we got the backup regression for if we do need it later on in the trial. Just really unfortunate we're not able to capitalize on that Ruin. However, she's winning all kinds of 50s. Oh my god, and she's still going. Hang on a second, as I'm blabbering away, I'm completely forgetting the fact that she is still living, and she loses the 50. Maybe I should have shut up. Maybe I should have kept yapping on about something else, because I feel like I jinxed the poor girl, but she is just going to be going down after that pallet vault, and she played absolutely incredible. Round of applause there to last that long. That's going to set her team up for nice success later on in the trial. As we do get the first Pain Resonance, this is going to slow the game down for Axe Kitty, but has work to do now here, Smonk.
Yeah, it's definitely a tough cookie to crack. We did get an injury and also a infection onto Lemon, but a very early pull there onto Kaz over by the main building. Scarlett know that they can play very aggressively for these generators. They just have to pop 3 and die in the right spots to prevent, you know, any silly, you know, 4K4, 4K3 scenarios that might have them lose the set there. But Axe Kitty just committed to a chase here on Lemon. Lemon holding the angles a bit wider there on the Shack versus the Unknown, doubling back into Axe Kitty there, and then likely dropping the pallet as well. Axe Kitty seems to be not as confident on the Unknown UVX as Duck were to be, and swapping instead to go for a chase onto Dage there, not quite getting that infection to come through, applying the Eruption on towards the Gen over by the main building. We've lost our hallucination that was up by main building, instead teleporting back down towards this generator over here by the tower, and coming to a chase here onto LV Duck, the Unknown man himself, but unfortunately UVX not quite coming through with the tag there, and that will be an M1 coming through. Never mind, LV Duck's head is made of steel apparently, as he does avoid barely the M1 coming through there and just takes the infection on the chin. But I dare say this will still result in an M1 tag. No, we actually get the pallet stun. Axe Kitty, your connection's too good, my friend. You got to jiggle the Ethernet cord a little bit. But we do lose the infection as well. Don't go for the pallet. Instead, Duck will just be taking the M1 tag and going into the underground there. Another gen has been popped in the background. No, I'm talking about my last one has been popped in the background. But we did see Lemon get reset there in the background. Hallucination coming out in main building as well. We can put that in the back pocket for later there. And live on Duck there will buy him enough distance to access a more reliable structure to play around here, but we don't have any parts, and there's a little dip there. We should have played around the jungle gym that we just ran past. Now we've kind of got to mosey about the edge map here, and we're just getting M2 zone there by the Unknown. Infection not coming through though, so this does buy Duck the comp corner death spot there, which is exactly what you want to happen on the Unknown set here. That's what's really important. While the HUD is likely broken, I dare say Scar's diligently working away at those generators, and that we have a very high progress main building. Oh, we have like, I think we're 3 splitting, we're 2 splitting 2 high prog gens, so we'll be at the 3 gen market any moment now, but this will be a pain res onto one of those generators there. I think that was in the main building. It was indeed the main building. Kaz's generator. Lemon should be able to pop his gen, no worries at all there. Coming through from Axe Kitty, I think he's running game cartridge and footprint cast, same as we saw that Duck doing, and we've clocked a Lemon here over by his generator that he was trying to finish there, and he does eat the infection next to the double pallet, so he's we should probably be getting kicked there, which we do finally do so, it does make this tile a lot weaker, thankfully. And we pulled out the UVX a little bit too late there. We just kind of let Lemon get himself uninfected, unfortunately. And another gen popping in the background. We're out the Tycon, going for an ambitious swing through the power. Doesn't connect to anything that hits thin air, as Lemon is doing a fantastic job spacing out himself from the unknown and holding the checkies correctly. He should be able to lose his infection at any second now, but he is doing a decent job breaking the line of sight. He doubles back into the power there to avoid the UVX tag and also loses his infection. And Axe Kitty is not having a grand old time. This gen's so high prog. We see Kaz lurking nearby there. I think Poise has just kind of saved her ass there because it hides your scratch marks and auras and all that. So we didn't see her run away from that, run away from the gen there. So no thing scratches to tell us that there was a survivor hiding. But trying to give it to Lemon here once more. He's healthy though. Duck about to pop another generator. Dage working a different one elsewhere. And cheeky little M1 mind game there, netting Axe Kitty attack onto Lemon. But this does give him enough distance to rotate over towards near Shack there. But he has to play around this tile a little bit. Another ambitious swing from Axe Kitty. Unfortunately, just meets wood, and Lemon will be forced to play around this sort of awkward tile. I don't really know what to call this, but he falls off of the railing there and will unfortunately go down for the third down of the trial. And that would be a pain res as we're yeah, now out the Tycon Hunter.
How did he win it for that long? Only God knows at that point, but we're going to be hooking there over at the corner of Shack, and that was very well done by Lemon. We are at the win condition, because there is no tie condition. The tie condition would mean that we'd need a fresh bleed out from this point onwards. But Axe Kitty cannot give up another generator at this point, as he does kick the pallets here. He is going to be, footprint cast. That's how you say that add-on is the reason why he's making the pallets. He's going to be just traversing into the middle of the map here and trying to push off whoever's working this generator. It is Dake who's preemptively left for the main building, just hiding out, waiting for our killer to leave. But to 4K from here on out, I mean, you would require a lot of slugging and a lot of mistakes coming in from the survivors, which I don't think they're willing to make, as we do take the chase onto Lemon here around a very safe location, very deep into Shack. He's got no pallet to be working with, but a window in a dream. And as we do miss that with the UVX tag there, we are going to be still trying to follow up with one. And he's winning all of the kind of 50s over at just a window. This is absolutely incredible. Now, Axe Kitty probably actually has to drop this chase after getting the tag, but not going to serve him a lot of justice because Dake will pop that generator over a mid. That will be their win consolidified for 1-all, and we'll be going to the Mastermind set, where we do take this tag onto Lemon. Now it's going to further extend the chase just a little bit more over into 3. Doesn't really have a lot to be working with, but a body coming in from Dake, the man who just popped the generator. And as he takes that UVX tag, we do only have the pallet gym to our disposal here. We are trying to bait out the UVX, and we do so successfully as the snow pile has gotten in our way. Do we get the tag onto Dake? We are trying to bring up UVX once more, but we've gotten rid of it in time. We've looked at the killer just for long enough, and that's going to allow Dake to make Lemon to make around the pallet just a little bit longer. Eruption procs on that generator over at 11, so they do not get it done in time. Oh, they do actually, because we did not teleport to it. I don't think we ever teleport to it, and we're just happy to take the remaining stages onto Lemon. So Kaz will be popping that in the next couple of seconds. Axe Kitty knows that is going to be traversing back towards that portion of the map where hopefully we can find Dake to pull it back. Hang on a second, he has adrenaline. Okay, doesn't even matter at this point. He's going to be pretty hard man to down. I think everybody in this trial at the moment is going to be pretty hard to down, aside from Lemon, because Lemon's going to be injured when he gets off the hook, and you'd hope that he gets off the hook. Going to be intercepting the gate here over at Shack, though, and that's going to be Life able to make some extra distance for LV Duck to be working with. Does not have anything but the silo and this really weird pallet that we've been more so alluding to. I don't even know what you want to call it. Top of tunnel? TOT. He's running the TOT, and he's getting hit over the TOT, and now we're rotating back towards the Shack building here, where we do still have access to this window, but it's not really going to serve us any justice. We're faking it. Stop mind gaming yourself, Axe Kitty, please, for the love of everything holy. And we're going to be chasing up here, following just the slight events of losing the mind games after the Shack window. Blind's coming in. Do we potentially get the snipe? Hit the MJ! Hit the Michael Jordan, please! No! He hasn't pulled up the power. What the hell is happening? No, oh, it's just now. What?
No!
No! In the corner! Oh, and you know what? We have to play the... What?
Insane
FTP? Nah, they're out. Wait, are they? Wait, what's happening here? No, they're out. They're just out. They're just egregiously out. Okay. Well... Oh, hello. Didn't see you there. We're going to be going into the tiebreaker, but you just saw the unknown set, which was taken away by Scarlett, and the Blight set, which was taken away by IMO. Somebody needs to win this one, and we will replay it 100 times if we have to, live on screen for everybody at home. No, please don't do too many. But because I'm pretty sure the staff is all very tired here today, as we have been on the job for a fair long time, probably approaching the 6-hour mark as you are seeing this, but. Xin Xiao, the man, the myth, the legend, seems to be the rock for the team. The captain himself, what can he pull out of the hat? Spawning over at 1, does take the dashes here to cover his ground and sniff everybody out here over at the cold tower, water tower. Aggressive taking of the chase might just be our was our Jake Park, LV Duck, leading towards Shaq? I do believe it was, but we see 2 rotating survivors here, maybe a little bit favorable for us. Kaz going to be pre-dropping the pallet gym there, and we have another pallet gym here, but it's more so of a filler dropped by Lemon, and all of a sudden Dake is caught with no filler pallet to his disposal. He's just kind of susceptible to an open tag, and that's going to be the Ouroboros slammed into the tree, straight back on the case, onto Dage. Is Xin Xiao, what can he do around the pallet gym here as he plays some wacky mind games, does not win it, breaks the pallet here with brutal strength, tries to zone break that pallet gym, straight into 7 we go. Dave really needs to put on the jets here. He's got nothing to be working with. The body coming in to make away. Extremely great work from coming in from Lemon. After getting slammed into the wall there, he does rotate towards the middle of the map, and this will be a lot of good resources gone from here on out. But we're getting a little bit fancy, and unfortunately, Xin Xiao not quite connecting with the fancy. He does have a... Oh, sorry, Lemon does have a pallet here just sitting out to the mid side of 2, and does elect to greet it very nicely. Wins the stun of the process! Another body coming in from LV Duck, question mark. Now, all in the meantime, while they're playing so altruistic, we have about 50% of a generator done in the process. Kaz's gen, that is. Not too sure where that is on the map, but we're going to be kicking over it too anyway. Could it potentially even be main, but we're going to be slamming LV Duck, sorry, Lemon, straight into the wall there over it too. And yeah, she is.
That was into LV. That was into Duck.
Yeah, oh, true. I forgot about that. Yeah, when you slam into another survivor, they get the mending status effect, don't they?
Yeah, sorry, yeah, Duck. I think he was healthy too. I kind of like zoned out, so my body's failing me. I'm so sorry, but now Duck is the victim of the chase. He is in Shower taking the chase over by 1. Eruption going on cooldown there, of course, it went off earlier. We also got the pain off of Lemon, and it looks like Duck is just retiring to the corner 1 here a little bit, just not even trying to mind game around the crap in the corner. He's just like, yep, just kill me, take me away, bro. And thankfully, though, no pain raises over by the main building 3 gen, the classic, but we do see in the background, Dage unhooked. Sorry, not Dage. Lemon unhooked. Dage is red infection as well as injured, so ideally he's not found anytime soon. We have quite a few injuries on the board here. It's been a rather explosive start for the survivors here. No gens being done. All of the gen progress is rather low as well, so it's a bit hard for them to sort of get a foothold here. And Xin Xiao can kind of comfortably just sit in this mid map and keep an eye out for anyone crossing. The only I was about to say the only person who can realistically go for the cross here is Kaz, but he's going to release Ouroboros, guys. He's going to do it, and that's the line that triggers when everyone's infected, by the way, which is exactly what's happening. So that's a very nice 2-tap onto Kaz there, and a Painter's hook in the mid map. We see a reset onto Dage and Lemon at the same time there, and I dare say we'll probably see a spray onto Dage and Lemon as well before they're able to go down the map, and we see the spray being used in Shaq, so we know where the last 2 survivors are, and it's gone to hell in a handbasket for Scarlett. They're definitely up against the wall right now and need to claw their way back to a reasonable result, because at the moment it's looking rather grim. It's looking a bit unrecoverable, but if someone goes for a juicer chase, it could be great. I think no matter how you slice it, though, we do see LV Duck going to second stage in that corner 1 there, Hunter.
Yep, and now we're going to be taking the chase back on to Lemon here, where he's going to be lasting just a little bit longer. LV Duck still having yet to be pulled from the hook there, and they're going to be traversing straight back towards that corner of the map. Going to be extremely hard for him to move off of the hook, as we do get the pull straight in our killer's face. FTP to preserve the tunnel out W stuff from our unhooking survivor, Daig. But LV Duck does not make anything from here on out. He does, actually, no, I lie, he does make 2 and does not actually be able to use the pallet. That's going to be finesse as well, and life in hand to make all the way down into a favorable death location, more towards 5 section of the map. He's done a little bit of bait there and it has not worked out in his favor. He's been slammed into the window there. He is rotating to the backside of Shaq. Now, what can he do from from here on out. What can Xin do? Conventional 1v1 commences, and we're off to the starting part of it. But just blocking off LV Duck from any sort of funky rotation here. That's going to be, Lemon trying to take in a body as well. He's going to cut through the shack and probably take it once more. Oh, to the pallet, meet him at the pallet. It doesn't matter, we jiggied it around Lemon. The cracker goes down and we didn't get the blind. Oh, we were so close. It was timed perfectly, I would believe, but it was just placed in such a bad position. This will be LV Duck up and Adam out of the trial here at 5 generators remaining. All in the meantime, while I'm screaming for these altruistic plays, we have no gen pressure to show for it. We're forcing Locker as well, but we don't want any of it. Xin Xiao wants blood. Mate, he's going on an absolute rampage right now, kicking this generator with Eruption straight back on the case over towards main, which was the generator that once upon a time Kaz was working. Is it close to being done? I'm not too sure where the other progression is happening on the map here, but it seems like Xin Xiao has put the game to a halt. Oh my god, they're resetting, and caught at a loss is Daig somewhere off in the edge map. Oh, I've never seen such a dominant performance from the Wesker set. I'll be so for real. A tunnel out at 5 generators remaining. I feel like these chasers needed to be a lot longer on their own. They needed to not play so altruistic to keep the survivors up and at them, because they have nothing on the scorecard to show for it. Nothing at all. Everybody actually being healthy, no, I do apologize. Daig is not healthy, but having 2 survivors healthy in this instance does aid you to at least pull it back to a 4K3 looking like. Best case scenario, 4K2. I'll be very, very surprised, and I will jump out of my seat and actually further facilitate the heart attack if they do manage to pull outs from this game. But here, up goes the power. Can we connect? We can, and we get the tag onto Kaz there, who is elected to use the long side of Shaq once more. Does not really have anything to be working with after this but the pallet. Lemon going for the head-on here instead of just the gen pressure. I'm really wondering what the play is here. So now, we only know that Daig could potentially be working one, and this could be the eruption proc that we do need to further actually hold on to the 4K5 at this point in time. But off the hill she goes. Balance landing. Shaq pallet gone. Do we vault the window to catch it off guard? We don't, but we play around it regardless. We're pretty confident we can get it with the power over the window. We do. And we get the eruption proc of the aura onto one. We're slugging. We are so hungry for the 4K5. Will we be able to see it on the Wesker here, Smunk? What do you think?
He's playing incredibly greedy. This is biblical levels of greed from Xin Xiao here, going for the 4K5 Wesker set. We've already had one 4K5 today, and by God, if we're about to see another. Kaz being picked up expeditiously in the background there by Lemon, though, so I dare say we should be able to double that generator over by Shaq to prevent the 4K5 scenario before it would happen. But Daig playing very safe here. Unfortunately, he will be grabbed. No eruption on the map there to trigger, so this should be a pain resonance if we have one nearby. It looks like we're out of luck, though, as we did die by main, which is exactly where all of our pain resonances are not. So I dare say, unless we're being even greedier, I think he's going to wiggle out here, man. That's a little bit foul. Oh, you... Disgusting. It's absolutely foul. It's disgusting. It's awful. I don't like it. It disgusts me. It sickens me. But we do get the pain res token to interrupt the generator over here. We see some lingering scratches there. This should be Lemon. Ideally, it's not Kaz because she's red infection and injured. We're going back just to kick the generator with eruption. And no, I think it actually was Lemon. Yeah, Kaz is stealthing down edge map there. Xin Xiao's pretty convinced that someone might be by Shaq, but I think we've just seen the lingering residual scratches of Lemon as he rotates down to pull Daig off the hook. Cutting down here towards 1, he's actually gone past the hook and is trying to get on the gen at 1, which begs the question of, are you really sending in Kaz to take over the pool in the condition she's in? It's not very chivalrous, but no, it looks like instead we are resetting behind 12, or rather in main perhaps there, because we are injured. Oh no, we have balance landing, so I think maybe we're just going to be spraying at top main there to try and bait chase. No, we're unhooking, and away we let him get the unhook. For free there, unfortunately, he's in chat. Not quite catching on to Lemon there. Taking the chase on to Daig here, who has already been injured from the power usage there, and will be deep wounded. This should be a down if Xin Xiao's got his timing right, but unfortunately, it's a bit too awkward there. The first dash going a little too wide. Brutal Strength will make quick work of the power there, forcing Daig to rotate over towards the other side of the hill here. But I don't think he has any resources to work with here, though, unfortunately, as he's going to have to opt to die edge map there. But if Lemon is on top of it, and so is Kaz, and they should hopefully be just cranking away at that one generator, because one doesn't have eruption on it. It is just super high prog over there by 1, and it's actually not super high prog at all. Actually, they're splitting 12 and 1, and they're both about 50%. So I guess I'm just lying on Hunter. I'm deluded.
You have lied to me. I can't believe you did this. No, it doesn't matter. We are going to be getting the hook there over towards corner 7, and then Xiao straight back over to the top of the map. He knows where that is. All of the pressure right now. One generator being worked over towards 1 and one being worked over towards 12 as well, as we do take the break towards the breakable door into the inside of main. We are going to be preemptively stealthing for that balanced landing on the side of Kaz. And yeah, she does drop down preemptively. Can she get killed by the Ouroboros? No, she has way too much speed. And now she's making her way down to the road. And we do see the unhook happen in the process. So we nobody's on generators at this point in time. We are caught at the Philic Young. We've opted to break it with a balance landing, brutal strength in hand. My apologies, but can we get the? It's just falling apart. I was gonna say the dashes, and yeah, we definitely did. Hook goes on towards the water tower as well. Straight back over towards the top half of the map. We know the survivors will be resetting over at bottom, or at least it leads you to believe, since Lemon and Daig are nowhere to be found. There's no way they rotate for these highly progressed generators, because it would be very, very... Actually, no, they did. Lemon did. Lemon, okay, I understand Lemon because he's healthy, but definitely not the injured survivor that just pulled Kaz. Sorry, apologies. I kind of forgot. Actually, no, Daig. I don't even know who was pulling in, who was coming off the hook, but doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. We do see scratch marks here over towards main. Now they're going to probably just sit 6 and then start the generator from start to finish now. Because you can't really... Oh my god, we vaulted into the window. You can't really play for these generators here over at top now, 12 and 1. It's where the chase is. So... it's just not conventional gameplay at all. You haven't seen them flip the map after a couple gens being done. I mean, at the start, you should have probably just let the bro hit second. I'll be completely honest, but... I mean, Xiao just capitalizing on every little mistake that is happening in this game. All in the meantime, still making mistakes himself. I've seen a fair few times where we've mucked up the dashes. Why is he just survivor over in main? What are we doing? He's going down. Why are you playing for that? He was taking chase there. No take. Oh. It's got to be another hook here, and it's all just crumbling apart now. Definitely not what you need. Hooked in front of main in the middle of the road here. Even I thought they were over at bottom, just splitting the pressure, you know, one on one gen, one on the other. Please just pull it back to one more generator. I can't fathom a 4K5 on the Wesker, but I better shut my mouth because Xiao's so primed that I'm pretty sure I'm going to get 4K6 if I ever went up against this guy. He's absolutely incredible right now. The slam onto Kaz 2. Lemon, what are you doing in this scenario? Where have you gone? Boy, oh boy, it's terrible. And if we shut the hatch, just a 4K5 solidified. He's just slamming out main right now. No, surely he doesn't go to main and knows he's working there, please. You usually just shut the hatch. You don't know he's there. Oh, this guy's just... Oh, he's just a Noah Smog.
He's got a crystal ball, I think. Oh, we just dumped him out of main there. That doesn't injure him, but it does give him potentially a path to hatch. We're kicking the main building gen. He's fighting against 5 survivors and he's too locked in. I don't think... Has he not realized that the hatch is open? I don't really know why he's gone and kicked the gen. That was very strange. But he's got to try and cut. I think he can just cut off Lemon from the from the hatch there. He knows it's there, so he's just going to be able to close the hatch. I thought he didn't know. But I don't know why he kicked main, but he's just going to be taking the chase into Lemon now and respecting the power up there. Lemon just greeting it a little bit there, knowing that he's going to get tagged eventually. He may as well just greet a little bit. Jewel Beetle, unfortunately, scamming us once more. Xiao making himself a victim, and Lemon's just kind of phased through him a little bit, but that will be a slam onto the edge map there, and unfortunately Lemon will just be able to phase through Xiao and get the stun there, and this will be the final chase for all the flair on the world. So I'd like to see something fancy from Xiao there, but Lemon is just made of... Oh, he's a head on. I forgot about that. He's gone to locker. And you bait it. And you bait it. Oh, you bugged it up. Unlucky. 4K5 for IMO. Don't know about Scarlett beating that result there. You can tie it, you know, if you're playing insane, but I think this was just like a showcase of Xiao's incredible performance, and Westcan also just... Scarlett maybe not...
Welcome back, everyone, to the second half of the Wesker set, where we are chasing a 4K6 win condition for our killer, which is just not feasibly possible. It would rely on the survivors, obviously, getting a penalty and then... 4K5 being made in the process as well if Scarlett was to take away the entire series. On the contrary, let's say that Scarlett do 4K5. We'll be replaying the set. That's the most likely outcome out of both of those scenarios. But to put it on paper, that is extremely unlikely in any given circumstance. Lemon, the man for the job, going to be playing around this almond filler here and just going to be greeting the pallet is Marsh, who's just thrown into the middle of it and then just forced over towards backside 12. Well, this could be potentially a quick 2-tap, but there is a pallet to be working with here. Hopefully it doesn't go down as we do break the breakable door. Oh no. Oh no, oh no, oh no. Okay, if there's a 4K5 on the cards, this is exactly the way you want to start off the match. We're going to be taking that pick up onto Mars here, but does he get hooked backside of main or does he get hooked the front? I think we should hook at the front because there's a nice little pain resonance and it's in front of main. We can work with that, okay? We can put pressure on so many different angles. We've got another survivor playing very, very altruistic. We only need one generator popping, and that's going to be Axe Kitty off of their generator, eating that pain resonance over towards 8. Zinchao on another completely different generator, potentially over towards Deep 6 here, but Lemon is trying to scare off Axe Kitty. Does not work out for his favor, but that's a very quick and ambitious pull. Slam into the survivor there. Marsh now all of a sudden is wounded state. So following up, we do not chase any of them. We go for the survivor here over at towards 8 to keep up the pressure on the entire board here. And it's honestly not the worst thing to do when you're fighting for such an egregious win condition, but ultimately, it can result in this, where you have reset the tunnel out to a point where you got no chase at the moment. But we're so lucky that it's so early on in the match where there's just no progression really to be worried about at this point in time. But with that being said, we still do need a down to facilitate for keeping the 4K5. Now, we are going to be vaulting the window there with power in hand. That's a nice looking window vault coming in from Zinchao, our man, the myth, the legend, the killer last game. Does able to make away without actually being tagged, without being injured. However, Lemon has opted to leave that entirely and go back to 4. Wait, 4? Sorry, no, this is 8. Apologies. Disoriented.
Oh
What?
my god.
Get it off my screen. No, get it off my screen. How? What? In what world? In what world? Anyway, as I say that, Caster's Curse, Caster's Curse, what do they even say? All right, I'm losing my marbles, but Axe Kitty just going to be playing around this R and L wall. Up goes the power. Lemon, what can you do from here on out? Very nice grab, slammed into all or nothing. It just does happen to the best of us, and I think even our Jonathan Byers thought the exact same thing, but, you know, that's going to be the generator that we only needed to be popping in the background on the side of main, and this will be another pain resonance allocated towards us, but that will be IMO taking away the entire series 2-1 in the end, yeah.
Very well played from IMO there, and both the survivors that were doubling that main generator were injured and red infection. So very brave doubling there for both the survivors. But Zinchao's gen will also be popping shortly over by the shack, so that will be down to 3 generators. But the power break here, brutal. I think S is just kind of cooked unless he does something ridiculous. That he has, which is quick and quiet into a locker, and then Lemon is letting himself get head-on. I guess he expected him to come out and try to get the grab, but this is now just sort of given S a lot of space here to try and play around these tiles now when he could have just bladed out there head-on and gone on an M1, but that's okay. We take those and we get the down anyway, so that's all good. Down onto S here will be the 3rd fresh hook of the game, and then Painter's hopefully to interrupt Zinchao's other generator that he's been working on. Yeah, that hit through the window was certainly something, but it's also, you know, it's the Wesker change that will go to make his hit a little bit more reliable through windows and power vaults, which, of course, in true behavior fashion, they greatly overstepped it and made it ridiculous. And in addition to it being on ping, oh no, we've just unfortunately been robbed ourselves of a very free edge map dual beetle value, and that with the stun coming through onto Lemon from Zinchao, and I dare say we might even just be committing this chase here to try and get him out the game. A little bit of revenge for the previous game from the killer performance that he had versus Scarlett, but that M1 also won't be coming through live as well, and Zinchao buys him a good bit of distance in it as well, allowing him to rotate over to this part. It's a bit of an awkward shape though, and we try and rotate off of Zinchao instead onto Marsh, who now has the shack to work with, but unfortunately with no power here, we are just using the window. And unfortunately, we're not looking behind us. We're playing around our guest spots, I guess. Unfortunate there for Marsh. Just not really locked in, I think, after already securing the win con there, Hunter.
There was a second killer around Shack, I swear. It was Casper the Friendly Ghost just coming out. They were playing 2v8, yeah, so this is going to be Marsh on the hook here just in front of the water tower. Now Lemon just going to be traversing back into 8, where he's going to be taking this kick onto the generator, even just preemptively trying to pull somebody out of a locker, but we're fighting our demons once more. Take the break onto the gen. Eruption, how do you like me now? Going straight back towards the middle of the map where we can take control of the game once more. Potentially move it back to the 4K1, which will be a respectable result, unfortunately. Will not be enough, nowhere near enough, might I add, for the win condition, because that was already met ages ago, but Lemon straight back on the case over towards that unhook there happening. Jonathan Baez getting the unhook onto our Robin Marsh. This is not law accurate, but regardless, this is going to be the pallet going down here. And Axe Kitty going to be playing with Marsh right now, trying to keep them alive. Now, we've dropped the pallet on the correct side, and we have the body on the other side to deny any sort of funny down happening, but got the God window at the moment, and Lemon really pushing Marsh to have a good chase here. Going to be getting that head on very nicely, and the cracker goes down. Another generator in the background popping if you do have a keen ear, and you do see in the bottom left-hand corner that yes, it is the case. Anyway, going to be taking that tag onto our ace, but we don't want any of him. We want our tunnel out Marsh. Now, once more, running away, making all kinds of distance all into 5, and there's a whole lot of nothing but a bunch of check spots to be made at one of the worst tiles in the game, for me at least, being the matchsticks. That is going to be Marsh going down, and Lemon at the 4K2 at the moment. 3 survivors in the trial, 1 injured. If we can manage to get somebody on a hook, we're in a favorable spot to be in a 4K1 scenario, but if we don't, and if that injured person sits on a generator and we chase somebody healthy for a little too long, this is looking like outs, potentially around the higher stages of the game. I don't think it's going to be staying at low stages from here on out. At least I hope. Fingers crossed, touch wood. But you know, after the last match, anything's possible. But going to be taking the tag onto Axe Kitty, and Axe Kitty's just going to be rotating back into the corner of 1. Lemon with the power up in hand again. Does just cover the middle of the map where he can potentially pressure all these kind of generators around his vicinity. Going to be opting to take another kick onto 8 nonetheless, and we know somebody's within this area because it was regressing, and it was not that far progressed once we checked, and yeah, like I was saying just before, this is the double after that survivor who was working 8 rotated off towards mid-3, mid-4. So going to be playing around the 50-50 mind games. This little rock filler here shouldn't be winning too many of them, but Zinshao straight off the gen actually played around the counteracting movement very well, but Lemon's just going to be slamming him into the rock there. Everybody injured at the moment, so this is definitely grounds for Lemon to take control back over the match, as we have been alluding to beforehand. Power goes up, trying to bait out the pallet drop. Does so successfully. We did actually drop the pallet, and that's going to be the slam into the wall on the side of Zinshao, and he is pain resistable. So last pain resistant stack of the trial, ready to hit, I do believe 4. Did we rotate to 8? I'm not too sure, but that will be our survivor off that gen, not unable to do it, and it's S. We do have Axe Kitty over at 8, just slamming out that generator, those pistons, those motors to full effect, and now Lemon trying to play around the long mind games of the water tower. Another generator popping, so it's within his best interest to actually go back and cut off the rotation as opposed to just chase our Axe Kitty into Narnia. So he's back over towards the middle of the map, straight in front of that hook. Can just sit comfortably. However, we have spotted out our enemy. Enemy spotted here. He is dropping the pallet and trying to run around the main building on the backside, and up goes the power once more. Very nice down there to be able not to face the pallet and face into the car. It's going to make the hitbox hit in ever such a way where we clip the back end of our survivor, not able to make the pallet in time, alongside with the fact that there's a lot of ping here. You know, just don't make that on ping. So it's very nice work from Lemon to be able to down there, but we are going to be following up here on towards 4. And it doesn't even matter. We're going to be throwing into a whole lot of nothing. This will be just the 4K1 chopped, done, dusted, chopped chicken cheese. But, if only the survivors actually pulled out, so 4K0.
Look how far away he is!
Oh, I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I'm ready for bed still.
I'm ready for dinner. I just had my air fryer go off, man. I'm so fucking hungry. But, very well played from Team IMO there, taking the win 2-1. 4K5 from Zinshao is a little bit crazy, which was a mix of course, Scarlett making some key mistakes there, and Zinshao being just a god among men, I suppose. Lemon also getting a respectable result with 1 gen left. I don't know why he's not going for the pickup onto Axe Kitty. He's just kind of standing in front of the hook. He needs to, like, go get the other survivor, but anyway. Yeah, maybe we just take it out here anyway. We'll do like a little outro if you want, Hunter. But yeah, thank you so much for casting with me.